everyone, my name's Lara. I'm a dual Canadian British national and I moved to Canada, British Columbia from the UK with my husband Rich and our 2 dogs in November 2022, and we're absolutely loving it. We love our life out here so much. I post YouTube videos every Monday and Friday documenting our life, sharing helpful videos and just general Canada content. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then please consider subscribing, and let's get on with today's video. So for today's video I thought we'd discuss whether groceries are actually more expensive in Canada. This is probably something you hear quite a lot, and I feel like Canada's quite well known for the groceries being really expensive. And like, I'm not going to sit here and lie, yes, some things are a lot more expensive here in Canada, but then there are things that I find work out to be cheaper here in Canada. And as always, this is all just from my own experiences, but I just thought it would be quite interesting to just briefly run through the groceries out here and maybe compare a few things in Canada that definitely are more expensive, but then compare a few things in Canada that work out to be cheaper than they would be in the UK. And as always, please excuse my dog snoring in the background. So to start off, let's compare chicken. In one of my previous videos I mentioned chicken being really expensive here in Canada. I'm a vegetarian myself, so I don't eat meat or fish, so this wouldn't affect me, but we do feed our 2 dogs chicken, and in the UK we would buy them boxes of chicken thighs or chicken wings, chicken legs, chicken mince, and that's what we'd feed them rather than dog food. Now in Tesco, which is where we mainly shopped in the UK, I'm just looking on their website and I think we could get a 2 kilo pack of chicken thighs for £4.30 at Tesco, which is about $7 here in Canada. But in Canada, if I look on the website for Canadian Superstore, which is a grocery store out here that I would probably compare to Tesco in a way. That's another video I want to do at some point. I want to kind of do my own personal comparisons between the UK and Canadian grocery stores and kind of compare the two and see which ones I think match up. But anyway, that's for another video. So looking on Canadian Superstore here, they have a pack of chicken thighs for $17.31, which is about £10.50 in the UK. So obviously that's a big increase in difference between the two. It doesn't actually say on the Canadian Superstore website what the weight of that pack of chicken is, but I'm looking at the pictures. It's got 12 chicken thighs in the box at Canadian Superstore, and so does the 2 kilo one at Tesco, so I'm going to assume that they're both 2 kilos. But yeah, in the UK that amount of chicken will cost you £4.30. Here in Canada at Canadian Superstore anyway, that's going to cost you around £10.50, so that's quite a big difference in cost between the two. Next, let's talk about spray-on deodorants. So something else that seems to be really expensive out here is spray-on deodorants, especially the female ones. I think the male spray-on deodorants seem to be a little bit cheaper, but the female ones are so expensive. So let's just do as we did before and compare them on the Tesco website and Canadian Superstore website. So at Tesco, for a Dove 250 milliliter spray on deodorant, that's going to cost you £2. Whereas on Canadian Superstore, Dove 106 grams, they don't have it listed as milliliters, they have it as grams, is $8.49, which is about £5, and it's smaller than the one in the UK, so that's a big price difference as well as your spray-on deodorants. I have bought quite a few of my spray-on deodorants with me in our shipping container because we brought all our belongings over from the UK. But yeah, I don't know why the spray-on deodorant is so expensive out here. And they don't seem to be as big on spray-on deodorant as they are on roll-on deodorant. They seem to have a lot more choice for roll-on deodorant than they do for the spray-on deodorant. Okay, the last one I'm going to do for now for comparing more expensive items is romaine lettuce hearts. I mentioned this in another video, but I don't know what it is, but romaine lettuce out here is so expensive. I really don't understand. So again, comparing the two, at Tesco you can get a 2-pack of romaine lettuce hearts, which is £1.05, so that's about $1.73. At Canadian Superstore, a 3-pack of romaine lettuce is $5.99, which is about £3.63. So that's more expensive as well. That cost of $5.99 at Canadian Superstore is actually a lot better than I've seen it in other places. In Save On Foods, for example, I think it's like $8 for lettuce, which is crazy. And I did work in a grocery store here just for one day, but a lot of customers were making jokes about how lettuce is so expensive out here. I really don't know why it is, but that's definitely one that's more expensive. So I'm not going to compare any more expensive items for now. I just want to keep this relatively brief, but if you'd like me to do another video on this where I compare more costs, then I'd be happy to do it, because it's quite interesting and enjoyable comparing them. So yeah, there are definitely things here in Canada that are a lot more expensive than what they are in the UK. But now I want to go and look at some things that are more affordable, though they may not immediately seem like they're more affordable, and just share some tips on keeping your groceries costs down a little bit in case you are moving to Canada and you are a little bit worried about the price of groceries, because as I said at the start of the video, I feel like it's something that's quite known about Canada, and you know, I don't want it to seem really intimidating and scary, because when my dad came to Canada again to house hunt, he hadn't been here for about 19 years, and initially he was really taken back by the cost of groceries and couldn't believe how expensive they were. You know, he was looking at things like chicken again. But then after he spoke to me and I kind of gave him some tips, and we'll discuss this in a minute, he said he felt a lot better about it. So anyway, let's get into things that are cheaper here in Canada. For the first cheaper comparison, let's talk about laundry products. So when we first arrived here in Canada, which was at the end of November 2022, the date I'm filming this is the 2nd of February 2023, I bought these two laundry detergents, which are obviously absolutely massive. This is your laundry detergent soap, and this is 220 washes, and this is your softener, which is 120 washes. So these I actually got at Walmart when we arrived, and at the time of purchasing this, I think I paid $20 for this, which if you're immediately looking at it and you're like, oh my god, $20 for laundry detergent, that's so expensive. Yeah, it might seem quite expensive, but this has lasted us the entire time we've been here in Canada, and there's still, as you can hear, quite a lot of laundry detergent in there, and we do a minimum of 2 washes per day. Definitely 1 wash per day, but usually 2. And so $20 is going to be about £12 in the UK. So let's go and look on Tesco and see what we can find. Okay, so at Tesco, I can't find anything as big as 220 washes, because I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything as big as this in the UK. I remember when I was carrying both of these at the same time, they were so heavy, and this guy was like, what did he say to me? Oh no, because that was it, because they're so big, and like I was buying loads of laundry powder, he just came up to me and he's like, are you a dirty girl? It was so funny. People here are so friendly. And then when Rich was walking out of Walmart with them that time, this guy was like standing at the door where you exit, and he was like, who needs a gym, eh? It was so funny. I love people here, they're so friendly. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted there. So yeah, I can't see anything as big as 220 washes, but they've got Fairy laundry powder, 65 washes for £13.50. So I mean, by a mile, laundry detergent is so much cheaper here. This is the equivalent of £12, and this is going to do you 220 washes. And as I said, we've been using this every single day since the 19th of November, and there's still so much in there. And there's obviously less of this because this is slightly smaller, but we've been using this every single day as well, and we've still got some in there. At the time of purchasing this one, I think this was on a rollback, which was about $16, but I think usually it's maybe about $20. I can't actually find it online, so I can't tell you, but yeah, laundry detergent is so much cheaper out here. For our second comparison of cheaper items in Canada, let's talk about things like toothpaste and mouthwash and general everyday kind of items. So I would say that toothpaste and mouthwash works out to be cheaper here in Canada than it does in the UK. Just an example here is we get Colgate Max Clean toothpaste, and the last time we bought that was at Canadian Superstore. Let's just go and have a look. Which is $3.50 for 150 mils, so that's £2.11. Whereas at Tesco, that same toothpaste for 125 mils, so slightly smaller, this is £4, which is $6 here. So your toothpaste is a lot cheaper here. Okay, this is going to be my last comparison for today, but as I said, if you'd like me to do another video on this, then please let me know, because I find it interesting and enjoyable doing these. But let's talk about herbs and spices for our last one. So some of the brands of herbs out here are ridiculously expensive. They really are. Like, there's small little herb things, some of them out here can be like $6, $7, $8. It's crazy. But if you look at the cheaper brands, which are usually the grocery store's own brand, these work out a lot more affordable, and they're so much better value than they are in the UK. They really are. I'm gonna compare them now so you can see what I mean. So as an example, we're going to look at garlic powder. So at Tesco, their own brand garlic powder is 85p for 45 grams, which is about 73 cents here in Canada. At Canadian Superstore, their cheap brand is No Name, and for 700 grams of garlic powder is $7.99, which is about £4.84. So now I need to do a bit of maths on my calculator. So if we divide 700 by 45, we get 15.55, and if we now times 15.55 by 0.85, we get a total of £13.21, which is almost $22. So obviously that's so much cheaper here in Canada than what it is in the UK. And the point I'm really trying to make with comparing these costs is that yes, some things here are more expensive, and that's just the way it is, and you maybe might have to make a decision as to whether you continue to buy certain products out here or if they're just out of your price range. It's just kind of something you're going to have to figure out once you get here. But the other point I'm trying to make is that things might seem a bit more expensive at first when you're going to buy them. So that laundry detergent, for example, is spending $20 on one thing like that in one shop. It might seem like quite a lot, but then you need to remember just how long that's going to last you. And the same with like the garlic powder as well. Like, you might think, oh my god, $8 for like garlic powder, that's so expensive. But it's huge, that garlic powder, and that's going to last you such a long time. So I think you just maybe try and get into the frame of mind that, like, yes, you might be spending a bit more up front straight away, but then that's going to last you such a long time that you're not going to be repeating the cost like you would with something in the UK, which lasts a lot less amount of time, if you see what I mean. And I mean, like, Richard and I bought a big mouthwash when we first got here to Canada that cost us about $4, and we've been using that every single day since the 19th of November, and we've still got some of that left. So things do last a long time out here because they're sold in big sizes, so just try and bear that in mind when you're buying groceries as well. And finally, I just wanted to share a couple of tips for saving money here in Canada and some advice that may help you. So there's an app called Flip out here, which will show you all the deals going on at the local grocery stores. So I mentioned earlier at Walmart, I said the word rollback. That's like their rollback on prices, where they have deals on certain prices. All the grocery stores out here, when you go into a shop, they'll have these leaflets with everything that's on special and reduced in price. So definitely pick those up when you do go into grocery stores and take advantage of those cutbacks on prices, because they really do save a lot of money. Almost everywhere out here in Canada has points cards, so definitely sign up for those so that you can earn money back essentially on your shop. And maybe think about buying the things that are in the biggest sizes. So like with the laundry detergent, they do smaller size laundry detergents and that big massive one, but overall that one, the larger size ones are going to be more cost effective and better value for money than the smaller size ones are. So maybe consider buying your groceries in that kind of way. And then my last bit of advice would just be shopping around. I mentioned earlier how chicken thighs here are really expensive. So when Rich and I first got here, we kind of looked around at all the different grocery stores just to see what everybody's price on chicken was like. And we found the most cost-effective way to feed our dogs is to buy them ground chicken from Canadian Superstore. So I believe we get 4 kilos of ground chicken tubes in this pack for $10, and that will last them about 10 days. So that's a way that we've really been able to cut back on the cost here on something that is more expensive in Canada. So just do a bit of shopping around. We've noticed that some of the shops, particularly Walmart, seem to do this, is they'll reduce their meat if it's getting close to its sell by date. And if we do see chicken, for example, reduced for the dogs, then we will go ahead and buy that and stick that in the freezer. So maybe just look out for things that are reduced in costs as well, and you can put those in your freezer, and then you've got them backed up and you can use them when you need to. I hope you enjoyed today's video and found it interesting. I'm really trying not to sugarcoat anything because, as I've said in the start of the video, there definitely are things here that are more expensive in Canada, and I'm not trying to hide that. I'm not trying to act like things are cheaper here in Canada just because I love it so much here. There are things that are more expensive, and it's just the way it is. But there are also things here that do work out cheaper if you kind of look into it and compare it to sizes in the UK. Then some things out here do work out cheaper. And I just hope that this video is helpful to you and helps you to maybe not feel quite so overwhelmed at the cost of groceries here, and hopefully will help you look at it in a slightly different way when you think about comparing sizes of things and things like that. And as I said, if you'd like me to do another comparison video, I'm more than happy to do that, so just let me know in the comments, and if you have any questions, please ask me. I'm happy to help in any way that I can. So that's all for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing and following my other social medias linked below if you'd like to see more Canada content. I'm Lara, this is Our Life in Canada, and until next time, take care. Bye!